Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is a very exciting video. So, in this video, I'm gonna be reading you Istanbul by Orhan Pamuk, and I'm going to also show you some videos of Istanbul while I read. So, I'm not looking my best because I'm just gonna be reading today. Hope you enjoy it. This is a new idea that I have because I'm going to be traveling for the next, I was going to say a couple of months, but not really, a month and a half or something. And yeah, I also want to tell you that I read half of the book, the first half, before I went to Turkey, and then the second half when I came back. And I thought it was like the best way to do it because I could already kind of imagine because the description is so vivid. It's honestly very, very well written. And I could already imagine Istanbul kind of. And then when I came back, it was even better because I was there and just reading about it, brought back all the memories and all the smells and all the, everything. So that was very good. I think the book is exceptionally written. I'm definitely going to read something else by Orhan Pamuk. And I just loved reading it on audio because I feel like whenever I listened to it, it just transported me to Istanbul even before I went there. Like I could already picture everything. Um, the book is wonderful, and so it talks about it. It gives you a lot of historical details about Istanbul, about its culture, the way it was before, the way it is now. And I was even surprised to find out how similar my own culture, my Serbian culture, is to the Turkish one, because we were basically one country back in the day. And oh, there was a funny thing about because he tells a lot of anecdotes, and there was one with his grandma. And I was like, this is like a Serbian thing to say. You know that in Serbia we're kind of like scared of the draft. Anna's gonna laugh. I know you will. Um, so everyone's like, no, close the door. It's, the draft. Like something's gonna happen to you. Like, oh, especially if you wash your hair and like you get a bit of the draft, and it's like you can like your face could get all deformed and stuff. I don't know if it's true. In fact, I don't think it is true because when I was in the States, nobody was afraid of the draft. But in Serbia, they are. So Orhan Pamuk's grandma also mentioned this, and I just burst out laughing. And I loved all the mosques in Istanbul. That was wonderful. The smell of like as soon as we landed in Turkey, my husband was like, "It smells so good in here," and it's true because it smells like spices, like rose, um, tea, black tea. And when I came back, I opened my suitcase and I could literally smell turkey. It's incredible. It's wonderful. I love the smell. And also the people are very nice, very generous. Like there was a woman, um, because it's kind of hard to get by if you don't speak Turkish, because not a lot of people speak a lot of English, and um, we didn't know how to buy a ticket for the ferry because we were going to this island. Because around Istanbul, very close to Istanbul, there are like 9 small islands, and we went to one of them. So anyway, we didn't know how to buy the ferry ticket, and like everyone got involved. Like a group of policemen, like 4 policemen, and they didn't speak any English. Like they asked another person, and then finally a another person that was selling, I don't know, chestnuts, I think. He came and like he helped us. Like I was really surprised, and it touched me that everyone got involved to help, this weird Serbian and French people. Food is amazing. I can still taste this rice with cinnamon. Like, who would have thought that you could eat rice with cinnamon? With savory dishes, you can eat it. Okay, on to the videos now. If we see our city in black and white, it's partly because we know it from the engravings left to us by Western artists. The glorious colors of its past were never painted by local hands. There is no Ottoman painting that can easily accommodate our visual tastes. Nor is there a single piece of writing or work in today's world that can teach us how to take pleasure in Ottoman art of the classic Persian art that influenced it. You can often tell whether you're standing in the East or in the West just by the way people refer to certain historical events. For Westerners, May 29, 1453 is the fall of Constantinople, while for Easterners is the conquest of Istanbul. Years later, when my wife was studying at Columbia University, she used the word conquest in an exam, and her American professor accused her of nationalism. In fact, she'd used the word only because she was taught to use it as a Turkish lycée student. Because her mother was of Russian extraction, it could be said that her sympathies were more with the Orthodox Christians. It was Westernization and Turkish nationalism that prompted Istanbul to begin celebrating the conquest. At the beginning of the 20th century, only half the city's population was Muslim, and most of the non-Muslim inhabitants were descendants of Byzantine Greeks. When I was a child, the view among the city's more vocal nationalists was that anyone who so much as used the name Constantinople was an undesirable alien with irredentist dreams of the day when the Greeks, who had been the city's first masters, would return to chase away the Turks, who had occupied it for 500 years, or at the very least turn us into second-class citizens. It was the nationalists, then, who insisted on the word conquest. By contrast, many Ottomans were content to call their city Constantinople. Hazun, the Turkish word for melancholy, has an Arabic root. When it appears in the Quran, it means much the same thing as the contemporary Turkish word. But what I'm trying to describe now is not the melancholy of Istanbul, but the hazun in which we see ourselves reflected. The hazun we absorb with pride and share as a community. To feel this hazun is to see the scenes, evoke the memories, in which the city itself becomes the very illustration, the very essence of hazun. I'm speaking of the evenings when the sun sets early, of the fathers under the street lamps in the back streets returning home carrying plastic bags, of the old Bosphorus ferries moored to deserted stations in the middle of winter, where sleepy sailors scrub the decks, pail in hand, and one eye on the black and white television in the distance. Of the old booksellers who lurch from one financial crisis to the next, and then wait shivering all day for a customer to appear. Of the barbers who complain that men don't shave as much after an economic crisis. Of the children who play ball between the cars on cobblestone streets. Of the covered women who stand at remote bus stops clutching plastic shopping bags and speak to no one as they wait for the bus that never arrives. If the city speaks of defeat, destruction, deprivation, melancholy, and poverty, the Bosphorus sings of life, pleasure, and happiness. Istanbul draws its strength from the Bosphorus. To be traveling through the middle of a city as great, historic, and forlorn as Istanbul, and yet to feel the freedom of the open sea, that is the thrill of a trip along the Bosphorus. As in my childhood, we'll still see it as the font of our good health, the cure of our ills, the infinite source of goodness and goodwill that sustains the city and all those who dwell in it. Life can be all that bad, I'd think from time to time. Whatever happens, I can always take a walk along the Bosphorus. Hi, this is me editing this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was fun. I tried to capture the very essence of this book as well as Istanbul itself. I really recommend reading this book, especially if you're interested in history or the Ottoman Empire, or if you would just like to learn more about Istanbul or Turkey. It's a great book. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.